Have you ever wondered about the kind of person who's prone to making a little bit more money in life? Or have you ever wondered the people who just have that good luck or bad luck for some reason? Or maybe you just want to know what placements just make people shitty people. My name is Courtney, aka DivinelyTimedTarot, and I offer tarot services as well as other divination services, astrology services, and spiritual work. I definitely also do a little spell work, but that's by request. We're going to talk about today some astrology placements I think you should know, whether I think they're just interesting or I think they're useful. Stay tuned if you want to see specifically for your rising sign what's coming up for you in 2025 and what you can expect. Alright y'all, let's get into the placements. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, honey, if you like the vibe and you like the content. Alright, now let's go. Okay, so I got my notes right here, so don't mind me, but we're going to start with things that are a little bit more money and career oriented, and my first thought was Capricorn in the 10th house, okay? So let's get into this too. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so it's very structured and very disciplined sign. I feel like they're definitely drawn to jobs and careers that are high responsibility. These are not just any old jobs. These are usually jobs that require a lot from them, and they like to give a lot, okay? So this could be something like administration or manager jobs, manager settings, things like that. It's also because they're known for their goal setting and they're known for achieving the goals that they set, period. So it's no surprise why people with Capricorn in the 10th house, yeah, they make that money and people want to keep hiring them to make that money because they do a good job at what they do. Moving on to Taurus in the 10th house. I thought this one was interesting because Taurus, ruled by Venus, is a lot less intense with how they do things, I guess, less than Capricorn, but they're definitely work oriented and material oriented. So if they gotta work to get their money, honey, that's what they're gonna do, and they're gonna work hard for it. Because Taurus, similar to Capricorn, Tauruses, they like that stability, okay? I don't know about you, but I've never met a Taurus who's not a hard worker. These people work hard, and people recognize at their jobs how hard they work. So these people often get hired or have careers that really need from them or ask from them a very dependable and a very reliable and a very consistent kind of schedule or job or field, okay? Another thing about Taurus in the 10th house is they know how to be strategic and methodical with the things that they do, not only pertaining to their career, but at their actual job as well. So people definitely look to Taurus in the 10th house for those long-term, long-lasting, substantial successes, if that makes sense. Taurus in the 10th house could also be drawn to physical jobs, physical labor, physical work, things that require that kind of effort from them. And all Tauruses, like I said, they like material things. And how do you get your material things? How do you get those comfy, soft sheets? How do you get that yummy 5-star meal? But you got to work for it, okay? And they have no problem doing so. So another one I thought was interesting was Scorpio Moons, okay? This is moving on to the more emotional side of things, not so much career and finance. Scorpio Moons feel everything and they feel deeply intense. They're people who need a lot of security in their lives, but they also have a lot of trust issues and they doubt or they question when someone's offering that to them. They are definitely possessive. They're definitely the jealous type, the Scorpio Moon. So if you're looking for a gentle and soft lover who will let your freak fly in public and all that shit, no, girl, that's not Scorpio Moon. Sorry. And although they are very secretive and private and somewhat mysterious, right? They do crave that intimacy and they love that deep soul connection. And they almost, I feel like a lot of Scorpio Moons don't seek out connections because they know how deep of a connection they want. Does that make sense? But yeah, I thought it was an interesting one to throw in there. Another thing about Scorpio Moons, they are not afraid of confrontation. Okay, so if you're looking for somebody who needs to get something done, or you're looking for somebody who needs to teach you how to stand up for yourself a little bit, yeah, ask that Scorpio moon. Okay, moving on to our Leo moon. I see Leo moons as a bit of a showboat. Of course, this is because of the Leo aspects, but the moons is our emotions. So these people definitely wear their emotions very expressively, very outwardly, externally, and they have no problem with it, okay? These people are generally very positive, very radiant. They enjoy good vibes and good vibes only. And a lot of the times they can find themselves putting even pressure on them to, okay, things are not feeling good right now. How do I get the energy back up? How do I get the vibe up? How do I fix the situation to get the positivity back? Now, these people can be prone to insecurity because of how much of a focus is often on them, or that they bring to themselves maybe without knowing. Because of all of these extra eyes, they also put extra eyes on themselves. So be sensitive on your fellow Leo moons out there, because they're probably dealing with a lot more issues than you assume they are. The last thing to know about Leo moons, honey, especially if you're looking to date, Leo moons have high expectations, baby. So if you do not think you can reach the expectations of a Leo, let alone the Leo moon, girl, kick rocks. Okay, bye. Don't even waste the time, because that's one thing a Leo also doesn't like, is you wasting their time. Next up, let's talk about Aquarius moon. I know we're going just like a moon sign video by this point, but I thought these were really interesting and you should know them, period. And this is my channel. Do something about it. sorry, I love you. Aquarius moon, I'm an Aquarius moon, so I know for sure. Aquarius moons are definitely known to intellectualize their emotions and their feelings. They're not people who sit and feel their feelings. They sit and think about how they feel and how they should feel and how they're going to feel later. Because this is Aquarius, a lot of times they can feel misunderstood. Aquarius moons can, when they're communicating with people or when people are trying to see their side of things, they can be misunderstood, and or they can straight up their response like, I don't understand you. You know what I mean? I don't get you. Not only is this common for Aquarius, but this being Aquarius moon, it can really suck. People not understanding how you mentally and emotionally process things, okay? So be mindful for your Aquarius moons out there that they're probably mentally frustrated and emotionally built up. Aquarius moons are definitely independent. They're highly independent emotionally, but although that is true, this can lead to detachment or isolation when it comes to sharing emotions, talking about how they feel, or even allowing connections to get to that emotional kind of point. Continuing on with the theme of the moon, we have moon in the 12th house, moving on from the signs. Now, I thought this was an interesting one to put in there, and it's one that on my TikTok, go check out my TikTok, it's one that on my TikTok somebody asked me about, and I still every now and then get comments on it, and it's very interesting. These people often have a hard time expressing themselves and letting it be known where they're at and how they're feeling. However, they do have quite a keen spiritual sense or keen spiritual connection. So although here in the 3D they're kind of off put, when it comes to the spiritual, they feel pretty connected. These people, since this is a 12th house, these people can definitely have vivid dreams or have intense dreams, nightmares. These people can also, depending on, what you have in this house and what is working together in the 12th house for you specifically. But people could also have rough sleep. With the moon sign here, you could have, you could be having some interesting dreams, emotional dreams, because of the lack of expression you're doing. It comes out subconsciously in here, you know what I mean? Because these people can struggle with how they express things or struggle with finding the words or the outlet, they can kind of lean towards escapism. They can lean towards finding coping mechanisms that can be unhealthy at times, okay? Sometimes they aren't, sometimes they are. But one thing that's for sure with the people who have their moon in the 12th house is that when it comes to their emotions and how they process things emotionally, it's very private and it's very to themselves. They are also likely prone to emotional roller coasters. So if you have your moon in the 12th house, or you know someone who does, don't bash them for the ups and downs they're going through. They know. They know they're going through them. I promise. Okay, nearly done here, you guys. We're going to move on to another moon sign. We're going to move on to moon in the 5th house. This is an interesting one. 5th house is about recreation, fun, dating, sex, the pleasures of life. So having your moon sign here is definitely interesting to me. And I feel like you need to know it. These people who have their moon in the 5th house are very emotionally drawn to art and very emotionally connected to the things that they create and the way that they express themselves. So the way that they dress that day probably is representative of how they feel inside that day. The way that they did their makeup for their hair or didn't do their makeup or hair could definitely be expressive of how they're feeling that day. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. Another thing, having moon in the 5th house, this could definitely speak to an interesting motherhood or connection with your mother. And it can also speak to children, and either the children that you'll have or just children in general in your life. You can have an emotional connection to children. You can feel emotionally through children, or your inner child could have some healing to do in this lifetime. People with their moon in the 5th house are definitely attractive to the masses. I would feel like they're definitely very persuasive and influential. If somebody with their moon in the 5th house is really happy and excited about something, really into something, and they seem so interested in how fun and how creative it is, you're going to start to be like, okay, maybe this thing is good, maybe this thing is cool, and maybe I should check it out, because they just seem to love it. You know what I mean? So yeah. Last thing about moon in the 5th house is that because they do express through art and artistic means, a lot of people who have their moon in the 5th house are gift givers, okay? So that could be a love language of theirs, giving gifts, or they could love to receive gifts. Not necessarily anything big and brawny, but 5th house, moon in the 5th house definitely gives homemade, sentimental, I gave you something that you asked for a year ago, you never were able to buy for yourself, and you forgot about it, but I did. You know what I mean? That's what it gives. It can also give, you know, babe, I know you love to go out to this place. You always have a great time when you go there. So I figured me and you can go there together for the first time. That is what a moon sign 5th house person loves and needs. Next, moving on from the moon altogether. Yay. Moving on from the moon and going to Venus. Let's talk about the two that just really spark joy, spark interest. Moon in the 7th house, with Venus in the 7th house and Venus in the 5th house. Now, the 7th house talks about our long-term relationships, our partnerships. It talks about partnerships that are maybe contractual as well. But definitely these are things that we expect and want and maybe in need from these long-term connections. So having Venus in the 7th house definitely will tell me, if I was reading a birth chart, you can buy a birth chart reading from me, baby. Yes, you can. Ow, we can buy them. Anyway, this definitely tells me, though, that you are someone who loves love, and not just loves love as in you love to romanticize the idea of love, blah, blah, blah. No, you love to be in a long-term commitment. You love to have someone who's loyal to you. You love loyalty, honey. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Tell them. Someone with their Venus in the 7th house is definitely someone who appreciates change and they accept change, and they're all about enjoying things, and they're all about the harmony, having harmony and peace within things, okay? That being said, although they want harmony and love and joy in all things, people with their Venus in the 7th house, connections, these marriage, long-term partnerships, this is a priority for them. So if that part of their lives is still unkept or isn't figured out in a sense, they are probably not going to be happy. Okay? T, T, T. And last but not least, Venus in the 5th house. Okay, we already talked about 5th house and a little bit of what it consists of, what it's about: dating, sex, recreational things, pleasure. So having Venus in this placement is definitely fun. It can be probably somewhat traumatic when it comes to the dating scene, especially depending on the aspects there and the other things in that house. But overall, I feel like it's definitely a fun placement and a placement that you guys should know about, because they really get the long, opportunistic end of the stick. Whereas people with their Venus in the 7th house, they might find themselves longing and needing these long-term relationships. People with their Venus in the 5th house, they're like, girl, I'm dating, I'm out, I'm having fun. And even if they try long-term, it probably isn't their thing. These people definitely tend to mix or merge their love life and their artistic life or their creative expression. So if these people are very much in love, they might start to dress like their partners or influence their partner's looks. Feminine partners, you'll see them out a lot, out at places a lot, doing things. This is Venus in the 5th house energy. Now, like I said, although it can be fun, it definitely gives sprinkle of drama, sprinkle of, oh no, what's going on? And it's because these people can be so focused with Venus in the 5th house, so focused on aesthetics and how things look and feel. It feels so good, it looks so good, it's so pleasurable and fun, right, for the moment, that later down the line, let's just say it can get reckless, okay, for Venus in the 5th house. It can get reckless and it can get a little irresponsible. But overall, I do think it's a fun placement. I think it's one you should know about, especially if this is in your charts, so you can understand how to approach dating, especially versus having it in the 7th house or anywhere else in your charts. All right, you guys, that is everything I have for you in this video. Definitely let me know what signs I missed, what placements I missed down in the comments below. And also let me know what placements do you want to learn more about? What placements do you have that you want me to dive into, okay? Tell me. I'll do it. I will do it. Definitely be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe, my love. This many fucking people watch my content and don't subscribe. Baby, come subscribe. Come subscribe. Hey, come subscribe. Hey. And if you stay to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how you can figure out for 2025 what's up for you. What can you expect? All you have to do is go to my website, click on the Astrology tab, and go to the blog post for every single sign, Aries through Pisces, all 12 zodiac signs. I have given you a short excerpt of what you can expect, okay? Go check it out. It's very helpful, and it's tea, okay? Go check that out if you're interested, and definitely check out my website for a tarot reading if you're interested in that, or an astrology book. Or an astrology birth chart reading. That can be fun too. All right, you guys, thank you so much again for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe again. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.